we have finally did it after years and years of turmoil, or however you say it, after years and years of just bad play, we have finally did it. I never thought this day would come. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people they was doubting Bryce Young, saying CJ Stroud was better. We should have picked CJ Stroud. Oh, you know, a lot of people just doubting us basically. Never thought that a lot of people were saying that even we should move on from Bryce Young, trade him or, get rid of him after his second season. Even after his rookie year, people were saying that. But me personally, I stuck with him. You know what I'm saying? And many of you may not know, or maybe all you don't know, but I am a Panthers fan, and I can finally say that we are in the playoffs. And not only are we in the playoffs, but I genuinely think that we can win a game. Now, I'm not about to go as far as to say that we can win a Super Bowl or we can, win the NFC, but I think we genuinely can win a game. And you got to think our first matchup for the playoffs is going to be the Rams, somebody that we already beat earlier in the season, you know? And hey, in the NFL, if you can do it once, you can do it twice. Now, it might be hard given that this is a different level of football, but like I said, we did it once before. We can do it again. We just may have to make a few tweaks or whatnot. But I believe in our defense enough, with J.C. Horn, taking another leap this year, with Mike Jack taking a leap this year, with Derek Brown, of course, in the middle, the anchor of the defense. I really think, bro, we have a chance. We really do. And if we can win a game, this might be the most legendary, uh, you know, I wouldn't say legendary point in Panthers history, but I would definitely say it would definitely be an underdog story. But we have finally did it. And they wrote us off, but we ain't right back. People, they gave up on us. They gave up. We was a forgotten team in the NFL. Nobody was talking about us. We went from stands being empty to now, you got people in the stands singing songs. You know what I'm saying? Like we it's a purpose. We're playing with a purpose now. Now I'm gonna be honest, in the beginning of the season, I didn't know what to expect from this team. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect for us to make the playoffs, but I definitely expected us to show potential, to show progression. Because ever since Dave Canales took over for the Panthers, one thing I can say is that he's showing progression since his first season to now, which it's his third season, but every year he's showing progression. We went from, 2 wins to it was looking a little shaky in the beginning to last season, you seen the potential somewhat towards the end of the season. Now this season, you can tell we're kind of putting it together. We're kind of finding our ways. Um, but yeah, so I like what he's doing, and I like what he's doing with the team. Like we're taking on a physical grit and grind type of identity, where the wins are not gonna look pretty. It's not like we're gonna blow every team out the water, but we're gonna make sure that we capitalize on opportunities. But not only that, we're just gonna find different ways to get the win, whether that's 40-0, 40-39, whether it's a defensive game, offensive game, whether it's we 10 turnovers, 1 turnover, it don't matter. We just have to find a way to get a win. And this team is built off of physicality and, like I said, grit and grind. You know, and I kind of like that identity because I think that identity fits this team the best. Where it's like we really don't hang our hat on one particular thing. We're just it's just getting it out the mud, whichever way you can, whichever whatever week it is, and whatever it takes to get the win for that week. That's what we're going to do. And I kind of like that identity, especially because you can say that we don't have a major star on our team, like an MVP caliber player on our team. So you can say that, but you know, we just playing good football. Now, even though we have a losing record, I could genuinely say that we've been playing good football this season. You know, it's been a little rocky here and there. You know, we had some bad losses like losing to the Saints. Um, you know, one thing I can say is if we can pick up the consistency a little bit and start stringing together some wins, especially earlier in the season, we definitely could have, you know, did something. We definitely could have been that. Not even earlier in the season, but if we just, won some of those tight games or those games where, we weren't really capitalizing. Like, for instance, that Saints game, I think it was like week 15, week 16, something like that. It was later in the season. And now this Tampa Bay game, I think we definitely, you know, should have won at least 10 games. Those are two games I could genuinely say that it was just, it's when we start to find ways to win games like that, I think that's when this franchise is really gonna start taking a turn. And I definitely think next season we're gonna start getting to that point because you're starting to see it now, where Bryce Young is starting to connect it. He's starting to connect and find his rhythm. Just as a team, we're starting to find our rhythm. And man, y'all just don't know, man, how glad I am. You never thought this day was gonna come. People doubted us. The doubts that we've been hearing for the past however many years, 5, 6 years, the doubt that we've been hearing, all that can be erased. That we are a playoff team playing purpose football. We playing football with a purpose. It ain't too many teams that can say that. And I would like to thank the Atlanta Falcons and the Saints, for allowing us to give this, or for giving us this great opportunity, this franchise changing opportunity. And yeah, you know, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I just came on here to discuss real quick, just to put it in the air that we are a playoff team after people done forgot about us. And not only that, division leader, and we have a chance. And it's not like we're a team. It's not like we're a pushover. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like the that's why I like the way that we adopted the physical, aspect. That we adopted the physical identity. Rather than trying to surround Bryce Young with a bunch of speed. We're just putting. We got McMillan out the draft. With you got McMillan out the draft with. He's a rangy receiver. Nothing pops out on tape about him. He's just a all-around solid receiver. A high catch radius, a big target, a big playmaker, basically. Now, one thing I will say, and this might be my last point, but one thing I will say is that if Leggett can do something at least, if we can find that second option in the pass game, I think that will also be the major turning point in this game. Because the fact that McMillan is a rookie, this is his first season, and he's already established himself as a wide receiver one on our team, I think that speaks volumes. Because if we can find that second option, and it's starting to look like it's going to be Coker, at times. But if we can find that real deal second option, this team is going to be scared, for sure. Because then we're going to switch from, not only being a division leader, but now that's going to switch to, can this team win the NFC South? Because there was times throughout the season where, we were struggling because we didn't really have that number one option, or we didn't have that clutch, go-to receiver. McMillan was that, but you gotta think he's a rookie, you know, and he's a rookie, not really experienced. So, but as soon as he get the experience, like he's definitely gonna take off, and definitely be that wide receiver one from now and on. But if we can find that second reliable go-to receiver in those situations where McMillan is getting doubled or they're starting to key on McMillan, even if it's just a tight end, I think that will really be the turning point. Because we already have a run game with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dotto. We got a wide receiver one in McMillan as a rookie. If we could just find that second go-to option. Because if you look at all the top teams throughout the NFL, the Broncos, the Seahawks, the um the, the 49ers, like all those teams, like they have, outside of their dominant receiver or their best receiver, they have reliable options. Whether it's the tight end or whether it's the second receiver. You always need that sure-handed second receiver or a second receiver that can play make, that can make something out of nothing. But yeah, once we find that would definitely be the turning point. Because right now, I think this defense, I like what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. The fact that we brought in Christian Roseboom, I actually really like that signing, and that might have been, or probably is, our best signing that we made this past season. I definitely like that signing when we did that. I like that you know, we finally have like I wouldn't say a pass rush, but we have a solid enough defensive line to where we can stop the run, you know, um, or we can, let me not say just stop the run, but we have a good enough defense to where, if a team keeps doing something, we can stop it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna, just play us and run all over us and pass on all over us. It's either gonna be one or the other. You know what I'm saying? And mostly this season it's been, teams running over us, and not really passing over us, which is I'm cool with, as long as, you know, as long as we just not a bad defense collective. There's only a few teams in the league that have both a great pass defense and rush defense. You know, um, Usually it's just one or the other. And for this season, our pass defense has been, you know, definitely has been up there among the top teams. Um, of course, there's been little hiccups here and there, but it's the NFL at the end of the day. The top talent teams making adjustments. That's the reason that they watch film. So of course, there's gonna be some weeks where, a team doesn't look prepared, or we don't look the same, or we just look out of sync. It's just the NFL. Teams are adjusting, but I think as a whole this season we found ways to to we found our identity, and we found ways to win and stop teams from doing what they like. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Do those 3 things for me right now. Hold on, I'll wait. Don't worry about it. You got, hey man, do you, man? You got all the time. You did it. You did it. All right, appreciate it, man. And I'll catch you on the next one.